Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Joyce here with another Sistas recap review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, thanks for coming. Don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any recaps and reviews. If you've already been here, then you already know what's up. So last night was a new episode of Tyler Perry's Sistas. So let's go ahead and get into it. So picking up from last week, Gary has surprised Andi with this surprise photo shoot / wedding. And understandably, her girls are not feeling it. Like, they're pretty much like, hell no. But you can see Andi's face. She's all in it. Like, she's shocked, she's surprised, and she's loving it. But her girls, mostly Karen, is just like, no. This is not happening until we go back here. We need to talk. So they pretty much, grab her by the arm and have to pretty much drag her away from that altar because Andi is ready to go ahead. Let's do these vows and let's say whatever needs to be said so she can become Gary's wife. Now, me personally, I'm kind of giving a side eye to that because, the ink isn't even dry on Gary and Keisha's divorce, yet, and Andi's already ready to just step in and just forget everything that he's put her through, which that's the one thing I can agree. I think Karen was doing a little bit too much in her, being against it. But at the same time, later on, she does bring up some great points about Gary that Andi is just kind of like, right now, she got the rose-colored glasses on, All she sees is this dream that she's always wanted to be married or whatever. And she's not looking really at Gary's character. Like, is he even husband material? No, hell no. He hasn't done anything in the 3 seasons of this show that shows me that he is marriage material. Didn't the man physically hurt her? Anyway, girl, so as you can see, Aaron shows up. He had went by and picked up the license because Andi did say, well, wait, how can we do this without a license? And, magically Aaron appears with haha, here it is. Sorry, I'm late. So once Karen sees Aaron there, that just makes it that much worse. Like, it's like her face is like a permanent stank face. Like, okay, anyway, they managed to convince Andi, no, this is not going down until you come back here to talk to us. So the girls take her off to the back while Gary and Aaron and look at the pastor's faces like, I don't know about this brother. I don't look like they too happy. So we get back into the little dressing room area, and immediately, they all tear into Andi. What are you doing? How could you just agree to this? Like I said, mostly it was Karen who had the most opposition to it. And like I said, even though she gets on my nerves, my last nerve, she did bring up some points. For instance, she said this is some narcissistic shit, and it is, because how do you just make a decision that we're gonna get married and you haven't even talked this over with the woman yet, and you just decide to make all the plans? No. Now, Fatima had grabbed her handbag and was like, I'm gonna let y'all talk. I guess she felt like she hadn't been in the sister circle long enough to really have much of an input. So she steps out while the other girls continue. Now, surprisingly, I would have thought Dani would have been the one that had the most to say about Gary. But she surprisingly was trying to take I guess it was like good cop, bad cop. Dani was the good cop and saying, Karen, calm down. It's her decision. It's her choice. If she wants to marry him. And Karen's all, nah, fuck that. This nigga is narcissistic. Are you forgetting that he almost squeezed you, to death? Like, he physically harmed you, Andi. And, and you can tell Andi's face is just, but you guys, you don't see the Gary that I see. And Karen is like, girl, you can't be this fucking dickmatized. This man has done literally nothing to show that he is worthy of you, marrying him and being his wife. I have been the one that had to sit there and hold you and watch you cry and watch you be upset. And then she threw in the real gut punch. Do I need to bring up the country of how he took you out there in the country and left your ass there, and you had to, find your own way back? And it was just like, I'm kind of like cringe at that moment, because it's like, even though, like I said, Karen is my least favorite character, in that moment, it was like, okay, Andi, she got you, girl. So but you guys, he didn't just make the choice for me. On our first date, I told him that I would love to, for someone to throw me a surprise wedding, just like people throw surprise birthdays. I wouldn't want the hassle of having to plan a wedding, so I would love for someone to just surprise me. I had already told him exactly how I wanted my dress, the bridesmaid's dresses, what I wanted him to wear, everything. I told him, and he remembered that. Isn't that sweet? And Karen just looking like, girl, sweet my motherfucking ass. Sweet is gonna have your ass on a fucking episode of Snapped or some ID channel type show, with us talking about her smile lit up a motherfucking room, because he's going to fucking kill you. He's a psycho. And it's just like, damn, again, Karen she making some very valid points. Andi still is looking like, but, and, Karen's just like, you know what? Fuck this. You want to marry that nigga? You go right ahead. But I will not stand here and stand beside you and act like I'm happy and all of this, because I am not. And if you want to, I think she said, commit suicide, you will do it without me here. So she starts, acting like she finna snatch the dress off, and Andi's, no, Karen, please don't. You're my best friend. All of you are, and I need you here. But Karen is pretty much like, nah, fuck this. I'll take this dress and stuff off out there, but you on your own. So she dips out, and it's like, again, I understand it. Like she said, we've been the one having to, heal you and pick you back up every single time this man has let you down. And it's been too many times for us as your girlfriends to ignore it. So Karen leaves. Andi's still crying. Well, Sabrina, do you want me to do this? And Sabrina's like, reluctantly, she's like, nah, girl, really, I don't. But it's not my choice, and Dani is still playing the sweetheart, it's your choice. If that's what you want to do. I'm really surprised that she was so calm in all of that. So it switches back to Gary and Aaron. Gary's wondering, what's the problem? I thought I set everything up the way she wanted it. I mean, what are they doing back there? And Aaron's like, dude, you should have discussed this with her. I mean, as much as you thought it was a surprise and as much as you thought you were doing a good thing, you should have talked it over. So then Karen comes over. Now, she done changed back into her clothes. She walks up to Gary. I'm talking about if looks could kill, he would have dropped dead right there on the spot. So she walks right up to him and she's like, I don't like you. You a liar and you's an abuser and you's a cheat. I don't think she said a cheat, but anyway, I'm like, okay, Karen, like, she didn't have no type of issue getting up in his face and telling him, you were a fucking disappointment. And if you hurt her, I'ma fuck your ass up. I got something for you. And it's like, damn, So she walks out. Aaron's all, Karen, wait, let me talk. She's like, leave me the hell alone. You on his side with this bullshit, which I didn't really understand why she was so pissed off, but it does look like Aaron's in cahoots with him. So, you know, I guess at that moment, it's like anybody associated with him can get it. So Karen's walking back out to her car. Fatima has gone outside. She's standing there smoking on her pen or weed or whatever she's smoking on. And she sees Karen walk up, and you can almost see Fatima's face like, ugh, this bitch, you know. But it's like, we have to address this elephant in the room once more. So she tries to talk to Karen. She's like, girl, I don't want to keep on having to rehash this, but I don't want it to be awkward every single time I see you. Like, again, for the 100th time, I did not know that you and Zach were, were the couple, or that you were the ex. Yes, he consistently talked about an ex all the time. So much so that I had to tell him, listen, I don't want to hear this shit about your ex, but he never mentioned a name or that it was you, girl. I didn't know. So Karen's still standing there with her stank face. Oh, you didn't know. So you didn't know. And I'm like, damn, bitch, did she just say she didn't know? Like, shit. And, Fatima's like, no, girl, I did not know. So Karen's like, well, it don't matter because he ain't shit and fuck him. And I'm just going, girl, if you really thought that, you wouldn't still be stomping around here, with your damn face all stanked up and screwed up. So she gives Fatima this look. She's like, oh, I can see you don't agree with me. And Fatima, this is where I'm just like, come on now, Fatima. I was rooting for you, but you acting a little digmatized myself, because she's all, but I see something in him and I see the goodness in him. And I'm like, girl, he done blew your mind with them sex shower scenes, and that's what you see. Because really, Zach ain't showing me nothing, even this potential that she's saying she sees. Zach is confused as hell to me, and he's going to end up hurting one of the two of them, if not both. So anyway, Fatima pretty much is like, well, you go ahead and leave, but I'm going to go back in here and stand by Andy's side and be a friend. So then we get to Maurice. The episode, you can tell, was just kind of dragging. Maurice is at the little gay bar, and he's asking the bartender, I guess, does he know Q? The guy that stole Calvin's checkbook. And so the guy's face is like, oh, yeah, I know him. So Maurice is like, oh, what's that face about? He done got you too, girl. He trips me out with that girl. And dude was like, yeah, he stole my laptop from me. Like, dude got sticky fingers. Don't leave nothing of value around him. So Maurice is like, oh, tell me more, So then Calvin comes in. Now, Calvin come in with this sequin, tiger print type jacket. And Calvin, I really want to root for you, but sometimes he really make me question. And I believe Maurice said the same thing. Like, you in a gay bar with sequins on. And I was just always told, you got to kind of give a side eye to a straight, so-called straight man in sequins. And Calvin's like, well, this is my dog. My dad's friends are here, and I'm secure enough in my manhood that I can sit in this gay bar and still be straight. And Maurice is like, dude, your daddy friends is trying to fuck you, but you two, I guess, blind to see that. So then this white girl comes up. She introduces herself as a friend, and Maurice has more questions for them. So then we get to Zach. He has showed up at Danny's. And Preston opens the door. Zach is Dani here? Preston says no, she went out with the girls. So Zach is pretty much like, oh, okay, my bad. Well, I'll go ahead and leave. Then he kind of sniffs the air like, wait a minute, you cooking? And at this point, I'm like, Zach, are you freaking homeless? Like, how you just showing up at people's houses and inviting yourself in to eat once you realize there's some food? Like, again, I'm not seeing this potential that Fatima apparently sees, but whatever. Preston is pretty much like, you can come on in, dude, if you want to. So he comes in. Zach is all, what you cooking up over there? And Preston said, oh, just some steak and potatoes. And Zach is like, oh, you know how to cook like that? Oh, your mama must be black. Preston's like, no, she just taught me how to cook. So then they kind of get on to discussing the music that Preston was listening to, which was some, redneck saltgrass country, whatever type of music, and Zach is like, what the fuck? So they're kind of going back and forth with their conversation. So now Karen has gone to her salon. I don't know why she didn't go home, but she's gone to the salon, and she hears some noise. So she's kind of looking around like, what the hell? Because it's after hours. So come to find out, her girl Pam has met up with some dude from off the street, brought him back to the salon, and they're up in there doing their own version of, you know, like a remake of Karen and Zach's episode in The Office. And Karen's understandably upset. She's like, what the hell are you doing? You know, who is this guy? Pam's like, girl, I don't know, just some dude, you know, but, you know, I needed the real thing. I've been using my vibrator for so long. I was about to name it and marry it, but, you know, sometimes you just need the real thing. So I just met this random guy, and I brought him to your salon to fuck him real quick. You know, so Karen is like, that you just a hoe, you know, whatever. But, you know, Pam was like, well, hell, you did the same thing. Need I remind you? So Karen's like, whatever, it's my salon. I'm the boss. But you can't just be bringing, you know, random people off up in the salon. And Pam's pretty much like, girl, you need to go ahead and just start to put yourself back out there, date or whatever. Karen's like, how am I supposed to do that? So Pam is like, I don't know. Go on dating websites. Do something with yourself, you know, because like I said, this whole stank face she got going on is not cute, girl. So Pam leaves. Karen decides in that moment, maybe she's right. But the person she wants to move on with, Zach. So she calls him. He still has her blocked on the cell phone. She like, damn, this nigga still got me blocked. So she decides to call him from the business phone at the salon. Now Zach is over there getting his grub on, steak and potatoes, and just eating like, you know, he ain't ate in like 2 months. And so his phone is ringing. At first he's like, nope, I ain't answering that. And Preston's like, dude, get your phone. Like, it keeps ringing. So finally, Zach takes a moment from stuffing his face to go ahead and answer the phone. He realizes it's Karen. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. Now, back at the gay bar, Q shows up, and he's really trying to, I guess, get his flirt on with some other guy. Maurice walks up, cock blocking, like, dude, if you know like I know, you will move far away from this dude, because he gonna end up robbing you in the end. So he's still, you know, up in Calvin's business. Always got his nose in somebody's business. You going to jail. Q is like, dang, dude, I done told you. I was sorry, you know, whatever. Don't call the police. I can make it up to him, or I can make it up to you. And Maurice is like, nigga, you can't do nothing for me. But I'm sorry, y'all. Maurice is so pressed. I think he want him a piece of Q. You know, I think he really wants to get justice for him stealing Calvin's money or whatever. But as much as he into it, I think he might want to try Q out for himself. Now, somewhere along the way, Maurice knocks him out and drags him off, and he's telling everybody, oh, don't worry about it, it's cool. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he is about to go do with Q, but I guess we'll see that in the next episode. So we get back to this photo shoot / wedding. Gary and Aaron are still standing out there wondering what's going on with the girls, why they back there so long. Aaron kind of mentions it that him and Karen were dating, and Gary's like, wait a minute, what? Why I didn't know this? And Aaron's like, well, why I didn't know about, you know, you and Andi? So Gary's pretty much like, what's up with that? But Aaron's being a little tight-lipped about telling him what's going on. So Andi's still back there, I guess, getting her makeup retouched up or whatever she's doing. And so she and Fatima share this really beautiful moment with Fatima telling her how beautiful she looks, which she does. But then you still have Sabrina and Dani, you know, they're trying to be supportive, but at the same time, you can see it all over their face that they are really not feeling her decision. But unlike Karen, they're gonna stand by their girl and support her in whatever it is she decides to do. So Sabrina's like, come on, girl, you know, you can't sit back here forever. And Fatima mentioned something about smoking, like, girl, you need to smoke. Dani like, wait a minute, you smoke? And you can tell she's like, oh, okay, bitch, I got a newfound likeness for you. Like, I knew I liked you. I'm like, okay. So they shared this little moment about the different types of weed or whatever. So Sabrina's like, girl, is that it? Do you need to take you a little hit on the blunt or something so we can go, get this show on the road? And so they share this tender little moment, and Andi finally says, okay, I'm ready, let's go, let's do this. Well, right as they're thinking she's ready and they're getting ready to walk out and I guess let her say these vows because she's convinced that's what, she wants to do, she suddenly stops and she's like, guys, I don't want to do this. And that's where the episode ends. So we still, y'all know how Tyler Perry is. He makes us wait all the way. This wedding scene probably gonna drag all the way to the end of the season. So we probably won't know if she actually marries Gary or not until the end. So yeah, that was the episode. I'll see you guys next week.